If you want to know how quickly your body is aging, stop obsessing over your blood pressure or your cholesterol panel. Pay attention to something far more revealing, your telomere length. These tiny caps at the end of your chromosomes act like a biological countdown clock, and when they get too short, your cells stop dividing, your tissues stop repairing, and your organs start failing. But here's what almost nobody realizes. There's a 2,000-year-old root area deep in the mountains of northern China that contains compounds so powerful they can switch your Tome's enzyme back on and multiply the regenerative stem cells circulating in your blood by up to 3 times. And the most incredible part, modern science from some of the world's top universities is now confirming what ancient healers knew centuries ago. Most people believe that once your stem cell count drops with age, you're stuck with whatever your body has left. They think the only way to boost stem cells is through expensive injections at some luxury clinic overseas. But after nearly 3 decades studying cellular regeneration and herbal pharmacology, I've uncovered something that completely upends that assumption. A single dried root available at most health food stores for under $15 contains at least 4 distinct compounds that reactivate dormant stem cell pathways your body abandoned decades ago. Hi, I'm Dr. Ethan Reed. I'm an emergency medicine physician and regenerative health researcher. And after years of treating patients whose bodies were breaking down far too early, I stumbled onto a pattern that changed the way I practice medicine entirely. We've been conditioned to accept that cellular decline is simply the price of getting older, that by 50 or 60, your repair systems are winding down and there's not much you can do about it. But the published research on this particular herb paints a completely different picture. And once you see the data, you'll understand why I now recommend it to nearly every patient who walks through my door. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes this ancient root so extraordinary for cellular renewal. Specifically, you'll discover 1, the name of this overlooked herb and the 4 active compounds inside it that directly stimulate stem cell production and telomerase activation. 2, the precise biological mechanisms through which it rejuvenates aging cells, including pathways most doctors have never even discussed with their patients. 3, the jaw-dropping clinical studies from institutions in France, Spain, and China showing measurable reversal of biological aging markers in as little as 6 months. 4, my complete morning protocol with exact dosages, preparation methods, and timing strategies to get maximum benefit. 5, the critical mistakes that can render this herb completely useless and how to avoid every single one of them. And 6, the synergistic foods that amplify this herb's stem cell effects by up to 400% when combined properly. Quick favor before we dive in. I keep hearing from viewers who tell me they've been watching my content for weeks and only just discovered they weren't subscribed. Would you mind checking right now? It costs nothing, takes 2 seconds, and it helps this channel get this kind of science-backed health information in front of more people who are looking for real answers about aging. Well, the herb I'm talking about is called Astragalus membranaceus. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's known as hangi, which translates roughly to yellow leader because of the golden color of its root and its reputation as the supreme energy-restoring plant in the entire Chinese pharmacopoeia. It's been prescribed continuously for over 2,000 years to strengthen what ancient practitioners called Y, or defensive energy, which we now understand maps almost perfectly onto modern immunology and stem cell biology. But here's the thing, despite being one of the most well-documented medicinal plants in human history, remains almost completely unknown in the Western world. Walk into any doctor's office in North America or Europe and ask about it. You'll get a blank stare. Meanwhile, over 1,600 peer-reviewed studies have been published on its active compounds, and the findings are nothing short of remarkable. To understand why Astragalus is so powerful, you need to understand what's actually happening inside your body as you age. Think of your cells like rechargeable batteries. When you're young, each battery comes with long protective caps on the terminals. Every time a cell divides, a tiny sliver of that cap gets shaved off. After enough divisions, the cap is gone. The battery can no longer hold a charge, and the cell either dies or enters a zombie-like state called senescence, where it sits there leaking inflammatory chemicals into the surrounding tissue. Now, your body does have a tool for rebuilding those caps. It's an enzyme called telomerase. The problem is that in most adult cells, the gene that produces telomeres has been dialed down to almost nothing. It's like having a perfectly good repair kit locked in a cabinet with the key thrown away. What astragalus does, and this is where it gets truly fascinating, is it produces compounds that essentially pick that lock. They reactivate telomerase production in cells where it had been silenced for years. And once telomerase starts flowing again, those fraying chromosome caps begin to rebuild. But telomere repair is only half the story. Your body also maintains a reserve army of stem cells, roughly 60 to 70 million of them, housed primarily in your bone marrow. These are your master repair cells. They can transform into virtually any tissue your body needs, from fresh blood vessels to new cartilage to replacement heart muscle. In a young person, these cells are constantly being mobilized into the bloodstream, patrolling for damage and fixing it on the spot. But as we age, they increasingly stay dormant. They're sitting idle in the marrow like firefighters asleep in the station while the building next door is burning down. Astragalus contains specific polysaccharides and saponins that act like a biological fire alarm, jolting those dormant stem cells awake and pushing them back into active circulation. Let me break down the 4 specific pathways through which astragalus operates. Understanding these will show you why this isn't just folk medicine. This is measurable, reproducible biology. Pathway number 1. Telomerase reactivation via cycloestragenol. The root of Astragalus membraneus contains a trierpenoid compound called cycloestragenol. When ingested, this molecule crosses into your cells and directly upregulates transcription of the TERT gene, which is the genetic blueprint for the catalytic core of telomerase. In laboratory studies on human immune cells, cycloestragenol increased telomerase activity by anywhere from 1.3 to 3.3-fold compared to untreated cells. That's not a subtle nudge. That's switching a dormant engine back on. Pathway number 2, hematopoietic stem cell mobilization through the AMPK pathway. Astragaloside IV, another key compound in the root, has been shown to directly activate the AMPK PGC1 alpha signaling cascade inside hematopoietic stem cells in your bone marrow. What does that mean in plain language? It supercharges the tiny power plants, the mitochondria, inside each stem cell. When mitochondria produce more energy, stem cells can divide faster, enter the bloodstream more readily, and travel to sites of damage with greater efficiency. Researchers using irradiated mouse models found that astragaloside IV treatment significantly accelerated the recovery of bone marrow stem cell populations, essentially tripling the rate at which the stem cell pool rebuilt itself. Pathway number 3, anti-senescence protection through polysaccharides. Astragalus. Polysaccharides, often abbreviated APS, have a unique ability to counteract cellular senescence. Remember those zombie cells I mentioned? The ones that stop dividing but refuse to die. APS reduces the accumulation of these senescent cells by protecting mitochondria from oxidative damage and by maintaining expression of critical pluripotency genes like NANOG2 and OCT4. These are the same genes that keep embryonic stem cells in their all-powerful, undifferentiated state. When APS prevents their suppression in adult stem cells, those cells retain their ability to become whatever tissue the body needs. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Pathway number 4, immune system recalibration. Astragalus doesn't just boost cell counts blindly. It modulates the balance between different branches of your immune system. Specifically, it adjusts the ratio of Th1 to Th2 helper cells, calms overactive inflammatory signaling through the NF-κB pathway, and stimulates macrophage activity. This matters because chronic low-grade inflammation, what researchers call inflammaging, is one of the primary forces that drives stem cells into dormancy in the first place. By reducing this background noise of inflammation, Astragalus creates the conditions under which stem cells can wake up and function properly again. Now let me show you the published science behind all of this, because this isn't theory. These are controlled, peer-reviewed studies. Study 1. In 2024, researchers at the University Paris and the Sorbonne, in collaboration with the Institute of Medicine and Physiology of Longevity, conducted a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial on 40 healthy volunteers with an average age of 56. Participants took an Astragalus-based supplement containing 250 mg of Astragalus extract, including 40 mg of astragaloside IV and 25 mg of cycloestrogenol twice daily for 6 months. At the end of the trial, the supplemented group showed statistically significant lengthening of both median and critically short telomeres, along with a meaningful reduction in the percentage of cells with dangerously short telomeres below 3 kilobase pairs. The placebo group showed no such improvement. Study 2, researchers at Maria Curie-Skłodowska University in Poland examined an Astragalus root extract on lymphocytes from 18 healthy donors with an average age of 63 and 12 years. After just 3 days of exposure to the extract, 13 out of 18 donors showed significant telomere elongation. The average gain was equivalent to reversing approximately 6.88 years of biological aging as measured against established telomere, shortening rates of 79 base pairs per year. Study 3, a 2025 study published in Chinese Medicine, used mouse models exposed to total body irradiation at 4 Gay to simulate accelerated aging and stem cell damage. Mice treated with astragaloside IV at doses of 50 to 100 milligrams per kilogram showed dramatically faster hematopoietic reconstruction. Their bone marrow stem cells rebounded at rates that significantly outpaced untreated controls driven by enhanced mitochondrial function through the AMPK PGC1 alpha pathway. The researchers concluded that astragaloside IV represents a novel mitochondrial targeted agent for promoting stem cell proliferation. Study 4, a landmark study at the Spanish National Cancer Research Center, demonstrated that TA65, a purified extract of cycloestrogenol from astragalus membranes, increased average telomere length and reduced the percentage of critically short telomeres in aging mice, all without increasing cancer incidence. That last point is crucial because one of the biggest concerns with telomerase activation has always been the potential to fuel tumor growth. This study showed that the herb-derived activation operates within a safe therapeutic window. Study 5. In an Egyptian study published in the International Journal of Stem Cells, male rats given astragalus during chemotherapy induced bone marrow suppression showed the highest percentage of CD34 positive stem cells of any group, higher even than healthy untreated controls. Flow cytometry confirmed that Astragalus not only protected existing stem cells from destruction, but actively stimulated the production of new ones. Here's exactly how I recommend incorporating Astragalus into your daily routine for maximum stem cell and anti-aging benefit. Number 1, Astragalus root tea. Take 10 to 15 g of dried sliced Astragalus root and simmer it in 3 cups of water for 20 to 25 minutes. Do not boil aggressively. A gentle rolling simmer extracts the polysaccharides and saponins without degrading them. Drink 1 cup in the morning on an empty stomach and sip the remaining 2 cups throughout the day. This is the most bioavailable and traditional method of consumption and the one most closely aligned with the dosages used in the research. Number 2, standardized astragalus extract capsule. If you prefer convenience, look for a supplement standardized to contain at least 10% astragalide IV and a measurable amount of cycloestrogenol. The dosage supported by the French clinical trial is 250 milligrams of total astragalus extract per capsule, taken twice daily, once in the morning and once in the evening. Always take with a small amount of food containing healthy fat, like a quarter of an avocado or a teaspoon of olive oil, because these saponins are fat-soluble. Number 3, astragalus-infused bone broth. Add 4 to 5 slices of dried astragalus root to your bone broth while it simmers. The long cooking time, typically 12 to 24 hours, fully extracts the active compounds. Aim for 1 to 2 cups daily. This method gives you the double benefit of collagen peptides from the broth and regenerative compounds from the astragalus. Number 4, pair with pomegranate juice. Drink 200 ml and roughly 3.4 of a cup of pure pomegranate juice alongside your astragalus. Research has shown that pomegranate's elagotannins are converted by gut bacteria into urolithin A, which independently stimulates AMPK, the recycling of damaged mitochondria, combined with aragalus's mitochondrial boosting effects. This creates a powerful 1-2 punch for stem cell energy. Number 5, add lion's mane mushroom. Take 500 milligrams to 1 gram of lion's mane extract daily. Lion's mane stimulates nerve growth factor production, and emerging research suggests it works synergistically with astragalus polysaccharides to support neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. Your morning smoothie is an ideal vehicle for both. Number 6, include wild blueberries. Add 1 cup, roughly 150 gram, of wild blueberries to your morning routine. The anthocyanins in wild blueberries have been independently shown to increase circulating stem cell counts and reduce inflammatory markers that suppress stem cell mobilization. Frozen wild blueberries work just as well as fresh and are available year-round. Number 7, incorporate green tea prepared correctly. Brew 2 cups of high-quality green tea at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling. Boiling water damages the cocoons that provide the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant support your stem cells need. And this is critical. Never add cow's milk or cream to your green tea. The casein proteins in dairy bind to the cocoons and reduce absorption by up to 80%. Plant-based milk alternatives are fine. Number 8, eat broccoli sprouts. Consume 30 to 50 gram of fresh broccoli sprouts 3 to 4 times per week. These 3 to 4 day old seedlings contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli heads. Sulforaphane activates the NRF2 pathway, your body's master antioxidant defense switch, which protects newly mobilized stem cells from oxidative damage before they can reach their target tissues. After years of working with patients on this protocol, here are my most important clinical insights. Pro tip 1, morning timing matters. Take your astragalus within the first hour of waking. Cortisol peaks in the early morning, and astragalus's adaptogenic properties work synergistically with this natural cortisol rhythm to enhance immune cell mobilization. Taking it at night may actually interfere with sleep quality in some individuals because of its energizing effects. Pro tip 2, combine fat-soluble and water-soluble delivery. The polysaccharides in astragalus are water-soluble and best extracted through tea or broth. The saponins, particularly estragalide 4, are fat-soluble and absorb better with dietary fat. So ideally, drink the tea in the morning and take the capsule with a fat-containing meal at lunch or dinner. This ensures you're getting both categories of active compounds at their peak bioavailability. Pro tip 3, cycle your intake. I recommend 5 days on, 2 days off, or 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off. This prevents your body from downregulating its receptor sensitivity to the active compounds. The patients who see the best long-term results are the ones who build in these brief recovery windows. Pro tip 4, track your progress. Ask your doctor about getting a baseline telomere length test. Several commercial labs now offer leukocyte telomere length measurement through a simple blood draw. Repeat the test at 6 months and 12 months. Having objective numbers keeps you motivated and lets you fine-tune your protocol. Pro tip 5, quality is everything. Not all astragalus products are created equal. Look for roots sourced from plants that are at least 4 years old, ideally from the Inner Mongolia or Shaanxi provinces of China, where the soil conditions produce the highest concentrations of astragalexide IV. Avoid products that list Astragalus without specifying the species. You want Astragalus membranus specifically. And always choose products that provide a certificate of analysis from a third-party lab. Mistake number 1 being inconsistent. This is far and away the most common error I see. People take astragalus for a week, feel slightly more energetic, then forget about it for a month. Stem cell activation and telomere maintenance are cumulative biological processes. The French clinical trial ran for 6 full months before measuring significant telomere changes. You need to commit to at least 90 days of consistent use before expecting meaningful cellular shifts. After 6 months, the effects become substantially more pronounced. Mistake number 2, replacing whole herb preparations with cheap isolates. Your body evolved to process complex plant matrices, not single molecules in a gelatin capsule. While cycloestrogenol alone does activate telomerase, the polysaccharides, flavonoids, and trace saponins in whole root preparations provide anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and immune-modulating effects that the isolated compound simply cannot replicate. Studies consistently show that whole root extracts outperform purified single compounds. Use the whole herb as your foundation and consider standardized extracts as a supplement to not a replacement for the complete root. Mistake number 3, expecting overnight miracles. Cellular regeneration is not like taking an aspirin for a headache. You won't feel your telomeres lengthening. You won't sense your stem cells mobilizing. The changes happen at a molecular level, over weeks and months. What patients typically notice first around the 3 to 4 week mark is improved energy, better sleep quality, and faster recovery from exercise. The deeper structural changes to your telomeres, your stem cell counts, and your inflammatory markers take considerably longer to manifest. Mistake number 4, ignoring the foundation. No herb, no matter how powerful, can compensate for a terrible diet, chronic sleep deprivation, or a sedentary lifestyle. Astragalus amplifies the regenerative capacity you already have. If that foundation is crumbling because you're eating processed food, sitting all day, and sleeping 5 hours a night, the herb's effects will be severely blunted. Build the foundation first, then let astragalus supercharge it. Here's what I need you to understand before we wrap up. Cellular aging is not a fixed sentence handed to you by your genes. The people I've worked with who are thriving in their 70s and 80s, who have the energy and mental clarity and physical resilience of people decades younger, they aren't genetically gifted. They didn't win some biological lottery. They simply made consistent, informed choices that kept their repair systems engaged. They gave their bodies the raw materials to keep rebuilding. Your telomerase enzyme is still there, waiting to be reactivated. Your 60 million stem cells are still sitting in your bone marrow, waiting for the signal to mobilize. These systems exist inside you at this very moment. Astragalus provides one of the most powerful natural signals we've ever discovered to wake them up. And you can begin this process tomorrow morning with a simple cup of simmered root tea. Let me pull everything together for you so you can take action with confidence. Your body's aging rate is governed largely by your telomere length and your stem cell activity, both of which can be influenced far more than conventional medicine has led you to believe. Astragalus membranatius, a 2,000-year-old Chinese medicinal root, contains 4 categories of compounds: cycloestrogenol, astrogallicide 4, polysaccharides, and flavonoids that directly reactivate telomeres, mobilize dormant stem cells, protect against cellular senescence, and recalibrate your immune system. Clinical trials from French, Spanish, Polish, Chinese, and Egyptian research institutions have demonstrated measurable telomere lengthening, accelerated stem cell recovery, and biological age reversal, all with excellent safety profiles and no increase in cancer risk. Your daily protocol: 10 to 15 grams of simmered astragalus root tea each morning. A standardized extract capsule of 250 mg twice daily with fat, pomegranate juice at 200 milliliter, 1 cup of wild blueberries, 2 cups of green tea brewed at 175 degrees F with no dairy. Broccoli sprouts 3 to 4 times weekly, lion's mane mushroom at 500 milligrams to 1 g, and argillus-infused bone broth when possible. Take it in the morning. Cycle 5 days on, 2 days off. Source high-quality 4-year-old root from reputable suppliers. Be consistent for at least 90 days. Your cellular health is not predetermined by your genetics or your birth certificate. It is shaped profoundly by what you choose to consume and how you choose to live each day. You have far more authority over your own biology than anyone has told you. If this information opened your eyes to something new, I'm asking you to do 2 things. First, forward this video to someone you care about who needs to hear it. Millions of people are aging faster than they have to simply because they've never been exposed to this research. Second, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a new video. I release new evidence-based content every week on the science of aging, cellular repair, and the foods that make it all possible. Check out my previous video where I break down the 7 foods that generate brand new mitochondria backed by clinical proof that pairs perfectly with today's protocol. I'll see you in the next one. Dr. Ethan Reed.